So, we all know by now just how cool the gunsmith here in Modern Warfare actually is. It is by far the most in-depth customization option that we have ever seen in Call of Duty history, and I for one absolutely love the amount of personalization that goes into any given setup with just how many options there are to choose from. But without a doubt, one of the coolest adjustments you can make on any given weapon is actually changing its base properties in such a way that that weapon takes up the nature of a completely different weapon class. So today we're taking a look at just that as we're breaking down the 5 best conversion kits to use right now. But before we jump into that, if you are new here, how you doing? Hi, hey. We are always covering the latest Call of Duty intel right here on the channel, so if that's your thing, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. And of course, if you enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And now let's get into the 5 best conversion kits to use here in Modern Warfare. So you might be wondering, well, what exactly is the difference between a conversion kit and a secret or hidden weapon, since I oftentimes do refer to those secret variants as conversion kits. And while they are that in a sense, these setups today actually take one weapon and convert it into a completely different type of weapon entirely, whereas those hidden variant guides aim to build one weapon specifically. Anyways, with that out of the way, the first weapon we are taking a look at today in the 5 spot is going to be the LMG version of the AK-47, which very closely resembles an RPK or even an RPD. Now, unlike most of the weapons we'll be looking at today, the ammo type on this weapon is actually going to stay stock, whereas on a lot of other conversion kits, the ammo change is a very big factor. But here it's really just a combination of certain attachments that take the AK-47 and turn it into a more LMG-like weapon. So here I first have the 23-inch RPK barrel, which is obviously a barrel meant for the RPK light machine gun, so that fits the bill right away. And this is going to increase the damage range, the bullet velocity, and also the recoil control. Then I've got the GI Mini Reflex. Frankly, this is more of a personal preference attachment, as the stock iron sights on the AK-47 coinciding with that RPK barrel are not the most ideal for those medium and long range fights, which is where you will have the majority of your engagements with this weapon. So the GI Mini Reflex just helps my aim be a bit more precise. I then also have the Field LMG stock. Of course, this one is another no-brainer. LMG is literally in the name, and this helps increase the aiming stability so you won't notice as much sway. I also use the bipod here as well, since that kind of mimics what the RPK that we've seen before would have equipped, and we're more so aiming for that LMG look here once again, and this increases the crouch and prone recoil pretty significantly if I do say so myself. Then, finally, typically LMGs do have larger magazine sizes, and so to stick with that, we're using the 75-round drum mag to increase that ammo capacity in each magazine. So now, not only does this weapon look like an LMG, but it also performs like one as well. You can see that on the stat sheet, the accuracy, the range, and the control all increase, and then the mobility decreases quite a bit. Obviously, LMGs are far less agile than most assault rifles, and they are built for more medium and long-range engagements, so this RPK-esque conversion here is definitely a solid one. You'll notice throughout the rest of the video I feature a lot of shoot house gameplay for the other conversion kits. This one though, yeah, that CQC is not going to be where this weapon really excels, and instead playing distance is going to be your best friend, as despite the distance, this weapon is still very powerful if you are landing your shots. Now, moving on from the LMG variant for the AK-47, we then get into the exact opposite type of conversion, as we are now going to take a light machine gun and turn it into an assault rifle. So this conversion starts with the Holger 26, the brand new DLC LMG that came to the game with Season 1. Now, the Holger is not really the best LMG in the game. To be honest, I feel like it's more of a really slow assault rifle, so basically what we're trying to do here is make it as mobile and as assault rifle-like as we can. And it's really not all that difficult, since the G36C can be created from the Holger, and of course by nature that classifies as a rifle as is. So this conversion is definitely doable. First and foremost, here we have the XRK Ultralight Barrel, which increases the aim down sight speed, so that's a big plus there. I then use the GI Mini Reflex here once again, just based off my preferences, as I mentioned before with the AK. And then I've got the Ranger Foregrip for its added recoil control and aiming stability. I definitely think it helps to try and up that accuracy and control, especially when a lot of speed and mobility based attachments end up decreasing those stats quite a bit. Following that up, we then have the 30-round mags to sort of mimic what you would normally see come stock on an assault rifle, and it just so happens that helps increase the ADS speed and the overall movement speed too. Then finally, I've got my personal favorite, the stippled grip tape, as that increases the ADS speed and the sprint to fire speed as well. So all around, we've now stripped away some of those LMG characteristics, and we now have a Holger 26 that has an increased accuracy, mobility, and control, with a slight decrease to the range. And with this setup, you are really able to rush around a lot more and still find plenty of success while doing so. Whereas if you were using the stock LMG version of the Holger, yeah, that probably wouldn't go so well. What's really great about this setup though is that the weapon, while it may look and feel like an assault rifle, it still classifies as an LMG in-game. So any LMG challenges you need to complete, you can do with this setup equipped. Now we get into the really drastic conversions, as the following three all happen primarily because of the ammo conversions that take place. Coming in at the 3 spot, we are back on the AK-47 to look at the SMG variant we can create that I would say closely resembles an AK-74. The first attachment here is going to be the 8.1-inch compact barrel, which ends up increasing the overall movement speed and the ADS speed. Then we've got the skeleton stock, which increases the aim walking movement speed, the overall movement speed, and the ADS speed as well, which is definitely needed when you are taking an AR and converting it into an SMG. I then use the operator foregrip for its recoil control, and the stippled grip tape once more for its increases in the mobility category too. And then, most importantly, we've also got the 5.45 by 39mm rounds, which is going to reduce the damage in the range of the weapon since we are changing that ammo type, but it's also going to give it a more SMG-like feel, despite the rounds still being pretty powerful. So once again, the looks change quite a bit here, and we can also see that the fire rate and the mobility end up increasing, whereas the accuracy, the damage, the range, and the control all decrease. And you might say, well, that's a lot of cons and not a ton of pros there. But in all reality, this feels like an SMG that hits really hard in close to medium range engagements. Long range, it's not going to be super effective, but it works really well on maps like Shoot House, Hackney Yard, and Gunrunner for instance, where there is a lot of CQC engagements. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we then have the AUG assault rifle conversion, which takes the AUG from being a decent SMG and it turns it into a decent assault rifle. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely not the best rifle out there, but in terms of conversion kit weapons, it is easily one of the best conversions you can do in terms of effectiveness. Here we're using the 622mm long barrel for its increases to the range and control primarily. Then we've got the Forged Tac CQB comb stock for its increase to the ADS speed, the Ranger foregrip for its increase to the recoil control and aiming stability, the stippled grip tape for the same reasons as before, and last but not least, the 5.56 NATO 30-round mags, which effectively take this weapon from an SMG and turn it into an AR simply based off the ammo and the ammo alone. Now this setup might not look the most like an assault rifle, really it's only the barrel that changes in terms of the look of it, but the accuracy, the range, the damage, and the control all increase, while the mobility and the fire rate decrease. So all around, the weapon performs very differently in a lot of good ways. It absolutely melts and now has a far greater range than when it was just a standard SMG. But there is one conversion kit that stands above the assault rifle AUG, and it's actually another direct flip conversion, as we are now taking an assault rifle in the M4A1 and turning it into an SMG. I mean, the M4A1 is easily the best weapon in the game as is, and when converting it, it definitely does feel different, but still very effective at the end of the day. To start us off here, we've got the Corvus Custom Marksman Barrel for all the range, bullet velocity, and recoil control increases that we've seen before, the Forged Tac CQS stock for its increase to the ADS speed, the classic stippled grip tape once more, sleight of hand for once as I find it to be really helpful when rushing around, and most importantly, the 9mm para 32-round mags, which change the 5.56 NATO rounds out for a 9mm Parabellum ammo type, effectively making this an SMG when it's all said and done. Now, visually, it doesn't look all that different except for the magazine not being as large, but on the stat sheet, the accuracy, the range, the fire rate, the mobility, and the control all increase, and the damage slightly decreases since we are converting that ammo type. But all around, the M4 in the SMG form is still an absolute laser beam, especially on those smaller maps. So, with all of that being said, those are effectively the best conversion kit weapons to use here in Modern Warfare, and that is going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And of course, if you are new here and you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, including all the latest news and intel, updates and leaks, and pretty much everything else in between, Feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on, that way you'll always know when I post a new video. As always, if you would like to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL on all Scuff, G Fuel, Control Freak, and Respawn products. You can find all of those links listed down in the description below, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.